Hey, welcome to FRISKY Talk 15 with WildDark. As veterans of the New York City underground club scene, the WildDark brothers, Corey and Ryan, really know what it takes to create special moments. As a team, they've been sharing deep, emotional, awe-inspiring music through their DJ sets, traveling around the world and sharing their thoughtful sounds in unique spaces. After their popular In June a Deep release in 2016, WildDark finally has the chance to put a serious focus on their production. And with the success of their recently released Then After EP on trueColors, the duo is hard at work in the studio with a busy schedule ahead. I had such a great time talking to the two of them, learning about their background, some of their favorite moments, how the New York scene has changed, and what they hope to share through their music. Through it all, it's obvious just how much they love what they do and how much they appreciate every moment they get to do it. It's such a wonderful and refreshing perspective, and I really enjoyed this chat. Thank you so much, Corey and Ryan, and thank you for listening. This is FRISKY Talk 15 with WildDark. Sweet, so what are you guys up to this weekend? Keeping busy with music stuff?
That's all we're doing really. Right?
Yeah.
Just write so much music. It's great.
That's awesome. What's your schedule like for that then?
Getting in the studio is an all-day thing. It's not. There's really no schedule. It just is. You know,
Yeah.
Like we're just always working. So we both work from our homes, and then we get together in whichever studio is best for the day if we want to be together that day, and we just keep working. So. Yeah. A normal day's process is studio time, being outside a bit time, being inspired, spending time with our wives, getting back into the studio, listening in headphones, you know, it's just all day, every day.
Yeah. And then occasionally, like, I don't know, was it last night? There's like the 2 a.m. texts. Dude, I just wrote this. I'm like, really? Because I just wrote this. Check this out.
Yeah, last night was a really good night.
And it's like, I just watched Cobra Kai.
Oh, I watched that too.
Oh my God, I'm not going to give the spoiler to anyone that didn't, but it was amazing. Oh, and by the way, I also wrote this in between episodes. And yeah, so that, you know, that's like a normal occurrence.
Oh, I loved it. I liked Cobra Kai. I thought
was it amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm not going to lie. I watched it 3 times already.
I totally binge watched it. I was like, well, let's watch
great.
another. Yeah.
Back the old nostalgia, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's awesome. You guys are just like super in it right now. Do you have like plans of what you're doing with any of these? Do you have like potential?
Yeah. We have a really busy schedule in regards to releases for this year, which is awesome. You know, we just had the trueColors release that came out a few months back, the digital vinyl. It was great. We got really, really good support from like a lot of artists that we love. And from that came opportunities for EP releases and remixes on a bunch of their labels, which is cool.
That's awesome. That's so exciting. I know that was like one of your guys' main goals for this year was to do more releases. So
Yeah. We definitely want to come out, you know, and come out strong this year.
Yeah, what was it that that kind of drove you for you guys to realize, you know, that you wanted to start producing more often?
Well, it was a few years back, actually. We've been dabbling in production for over a decade.
Yeah.
And we've been DJing for just 20 years now. And it's amazing because we've always stuck to it. From day one, we knew where we wanted to go. And life happens, and you know, as a DJ, sometimes you also have to have other projects you're working on. And we thought we were going to open a business. And before doing so, we realized that if we were going to do that, we were going to have to put aside a dream we've been holding on to for a very long time. And we knew that if putting that business aside just for a little bit longer, we could devote 100% of our energy into focusing on our productions. And the second that we did that, everything fell into place. And that was about 4 years now. So for 4 years, we've been giving it our all. And it brought us to this point to where we always knew we would get to. And now that we're here, it's just inspiring and pushing us more to continue learning, because we just keep learning every day and shocking ourselves, and we're really happy about it. So I think that answers your question.
Yeah,
Absolutely. That's awesome. That's interesting. I love to hear that when, you're like, I'm just going to devote fully into it, and then everything works out.
What's cool though, like devoting a lot of that time in the 4 years was stepping away from actually putting out music that we knew could be better. So we spent a lot of this past time really learning. We've had some good mentors, and they're constantly feeding us info on how to create different, new, original stuff.
Do you feel like there's something that just like helped it all fall into place, or is it just piece by piece as far as like your mental state? Or
I honestly believe it was the positive thinking and the reinforcement that we're doing the right thing and it feels good, and we have to trust our judgment. So once we did that, everything started to fall into place.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. So you said you've been DJing for 20 years.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear like the start of, was it one of you who started, or are you both at the same time?
Me being a few years older, I got into the club scene in New York back in I don't know, 95, between 95 and 96.
Yeah.
Like from high school to college, and I fell in love with the club scene, and I fell in love with the music. And, there's always that part of you that wants to be on the other, especially back then where like DJing wasn't, you had your few residents. You didn't know about what was going on overseas. You just knew that these residents were killing it weekend by weekend with residencies. And it was like, oh, I want to control a crowd like that. So that's how I got into it.
Yeah. And I was 14 when Corey introduced me to the music that he discovered. And it's funny, I was thinking about it today because I knew we were going to have this conversation, and I thought you might ask something like that. And I thought about the Doc Martin tape and the Frankie Bones DJs of America.
United DJs.
And SCD and
amazing.
CD. And
you mean the cassette tape?
Yeah, and then and Born Slippy, from Train Spotting, and that was the time that's how I got into it. Was Corey introducing me to it, and hearing 7 Days in 1 Week on the Doc Martin cassette, that blew me away. And then I started going to raves. When I was in high school, I had my crew and all my friends, and going to the New York where parties, I Have a Dreams, Boo, and then Corey and I just happened to decide, let's go turntable shopping. And we bought our turntables and mixer, and then we started buying records, and then we just kept buying
our Gemini XL 500.
Yeah,
Belt driven.
And we built. It never stopped. From that day, it's 14. It's a long time now, and that music it takes over you, and when you find the love for it, and then and when it continues to grow, and we're so fortunate that it's still growing so many years later. And that's, again, going back to, it brings us joy, and that's why we do it. And I think that's starting to resonate with people out there, and that makes us so happy.
Yeah, it's amazing. Was it hard to get started in New York, or do you feel like what was it, in the late 90s?
I think it was a matter of if you wanted it, it was for you.
Yeah. On
some level. You just have to be like, all right, I'm ready to step out of the basement.
When I was 19, so I guess Corey was 23, we were playing residency, Webster Hall during the summer. And
shelter rooftop.
It was amazing. We were very fortunate to be in it, not knowing that time would soon end and that things were going to change.
This is the pre-digital era. So not everyone was a DJ.
And, and it was just something that we shared and we loved, and we just knew that it was it.
Yeah.
So how did things change as far as the scene and like DJing in New York during that?
The clubs are, I hate to say it, but the clubs, not the parties, the clubs are definitely not as fun as they used to be.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a lot less scene and a lot more party back then.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely changed in that sense. I mean, the music, I think, is just getting better, in my opinion. It's different. But it's just getting more intelligent and.
Yeah, I feel right now that the producers are at their peak. I'm very happy with where the sound is at. I remember going through a time, it was around 2005, and we were playing at WMC, and we did an after party at our hotel, and it was amazing. And I remember the party being amazing, but I remember me not being happy with the music at that time. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was all the repetitiveness and it was things just were changing, and it brings us to now. And very happy with right now.
Yeah, I think there was kind of a weird downturn in the industry. It kept going, but I think that awkward, I guess, era between vinyl to digital and
exactly
totally. Yes. Well, music became a lot. When it went digital, you can get your music out easier. There was vinyl labels weren't pressing everything. They were only pressing the great stuff. So when digital came, everyone was putting out music in quantity and not really quality, if that makes sense.
Definitely, yeah.
So there was definitely what's going on here kind of moment where not everything was as special.
Yeah, and I guess now that it's kind of evened out where you have to, in order to stand out, you have to be special.
You got to be unique.
Yeah.
It's really what it is. I mean, otherwise you're going to sound like everything else. But there's a lot of really amazing producers out there right now.
So what is your guys' style? What kind of styles have you gone through?
Oh man. we started with just anything and everything that appealed to us. It was a problem and an addiction, we would go to the record stores, and not kidding, even if we were traveling, we would come home with 100, 200 records. We'd have to buy suitcases just for the record. It's happened, Yeah. And it was all different styles. And then we started playing progressive, and it was trance and house.
I mean, New York house to trance to progressive. Sure. Once Sasha and Digweed really left their mark, and everyone started listening to Northern Exposure CDs and Global Underground, and you started to look for those. Wow, it sounds deeper, bouncier, more musical. What is this? So then you were buying trance, and you were buying that but then you would find that that breeder vinyl something, and it was this too. I want this. So then just dirty DJ playing everything, but who cares? Music was great.
Yeah, Mario Picotto, we love that.
Mark, yeah. All that stuff is amazing.
And then then the sound just progressed into where we are now. We're still finding our new sound. It's always evolving. But we like to push, and we like to be just in the pocket and rumble.
What would you want to be known for as DJs?
As DJs or producers, or just as one?
I mean, if it's different, each one then.
Sure. I think as DJs, we've always kind of prided ourselves on being able to flow from genre to genre and have it feel seamless. And that way, it kind of brings us back to what we just discussed about our roots and the music we played. We were always playing everything. And we still do try to find the gems in all different genres and play them within a set and have the set tell a story that's cohesive. So
some of our sets too on Into the Madlands, I mean, if you see, some are on the deeper spectrum throughout, and some, I don't say we're not huge in regards to like, we're not throwing like peak time sets onto a radio podcast because it makes for better listening when it's deeper and slower. But you can see we play a variety of both, and we just want to be known that there's a signature sound we have, the drums, like the darkness, the grooviness. But we want you to know, like, whatever you're going to get, whether it's big or deep, it's going to be cohesive and it's going to rock.
What have been some of your favorite sets you've played, like maybe from the early days or recently?
Sure, we played we played with Patrice Baumel for a bespoke event a few months back, and I remember just thoroughly enjoying that set.
Nice.
The music was melodic, but still deep, and it was a great vibe, great party, and then Patrice played after us, and he just killed it.
What's one of the hardest sets, like the most challenging sets you've had to do as far as like a crowd? And
well, New Year's Eve was we played for City Fox, right? And we played the Down Tempo Lounge from 1 to 5, and we were actually it was just kind of a walkway between the two main rooms, and it was a very big space, and we were sitting on this really cool antique couch, and they had the DJ set up on the tables down low, and so we were low on the ground, but we were playing, and Corey and I just vibed all night, and we played very slow. It was like 100 BPM, and we played very different music to be appropriate for that room, and that's always a challenging part, is to be able to adapt and play for the room, but turn into a great vibe.
Well, that's cool.
And it's challenging in a good way, not really a bad way. It's challenging in a way that it's like, ooh, like you have this track in mind, you're like, oh, it's too big for what we're doing. So refrain from it and keep what you're doing and keep rocking. And so it's a good challenge.
Yeah. Do you feel, I mean, since you've been doing it for so long, do you look for those challenges? Like, do you look for something that keeps it fresh, or is it always fresh for you guys?
It's always fresh. We give 100% thought and planning into each gig. We always have, and it's just become natural. So that's our way.
That's awesome. How about mixing together? So I'm assuming you guys first started like just going records every 2 records or something. Is that how you started out?
Yeah. We've always tag teamed. I think we've played maybe like 5 or 6 gigs individually without each other in the years. So we're very used to, we go into this set, all right, do you want to go 1 for 1, 2 for 2? Whatever feels natural. If it's, I think if we're playing an earlier set, maybe we'll go 2 for 2, 3 for 3, just to get into a deep vibe. If it's a little bit more peak time, then we'll go record for record to keep the energy. We think the same. So it's become so second nature at this point.
Yeah. Is it ever that one of you thinks differently about,
No.
No.
It's
awesome.
Beautiful and amazing, because we're brothers, and we can be in sync perfectly positively, or we may want to kill each other. And that's it. We're brothers. And thankfully, when we're DJing and everything that has to do with production and music, we are always on the same page. It's awesome.
That is awesome. That's a really unique thing, and you guys have such a good flow together. And I know it's really something special with the atmosphere.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah. And obviously, and everything you're saying, that it comes through. That every time is something new for you. It's nice to hear that.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Do you guys have any like dream gigs? Like, do you want to play in front of 10,000 people? Or?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Sure, I'll play that. Yeah. Only 10,000? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I know some people love to do these intimate stuff, and some people love to do the giant festivals. And I don't know what would be your dream gig?
This is like a lame answer, but we just love to play, and it doesn't matter the gig. If it's a gig and it's a great party and vibe, and you walk out of it feeling inspired, we're always appreciative of whatever that comes our way in regards to when we get to play.
Yeah, Ryan and I can play and we've played for huge rooms and we've played at festivals, and we can play an amazing set for them, and we can play just an amazing set for just him and I in studio. It's as long as the vibe is there, it's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Who are some of the DJs that you guys love to go see?
I was super inspired last year at Burning Man watching Audioflag.
Nice.
I was blown away. So that was inspiring.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Yoko.
Yeah.
Yoko,
and
Black Coffee is another one where they just deliver every time, and the vibe is just so spot on of where our heads are always at.
And I really like to be inspired seeing artists play. Good friend of mine, James Carson. He is one of my favorite DJs, for sure. He was actually a guest on our show. You can go back to one of the months and listen to that set. It's beautiful. And all the artists that we've asked and guests to be on our show, and we respect and appreciate.
And they always deliver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're all amazing. They're just all amazing.
So Burning Man must have been really fun. That must have been special. You guys going back again?
We are.
Yes.
Yeah. It was. We had an amazing time. Great vibe, people. Just the experience is something that, I think comes once in a lifetime, or hopefully many times.
So what other music do you guys love besides electronic music?
I love rock and ambient music. Rock meaning like Linkin Park and Metallica. That's what I listen to when I'm at the gym.
Me too.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure. I've been on an old school Taking Back Sunday, and it just pushes me, and I love it.
I even go back to Pantera. Yeah.
Nice. So who's one of the best bands you've seen play then?
Oh, for sure. Oh, Linkin Park.
Yeah.
Is by far the greatest band.
They really, they are, they still are, I'm sure, but they're amazing. They were.
How did you guys get started with Bespoke then, and how does that
family
work?
We've been friends with Rocky at Bespoke for over a decade. So just being friends alone was, the introduction. And then
Rocky had an evolution of there were different production companies as well, and we played with
each
all
one
of
of
them.
them. Yeah.
So it was a natural progression.
So do you enjoy what they're doing in New York? And
Totally. Rocky has an unbelievable ear for discovering talent. Mm-hmm. And he's always bringing in, and now the residents of the party are just a really good eclectic mix of all the artists and sounds that we like. And it just blends well with what we do. So the parties are always great.
Yeah. What's been one of your favorite ones to do for Bespoke?
There have been a lot, many, but Brian said the Patrice Baumel, which happened at a birthday party too.
Aw, extra special.
I mean, we can go back many, many years. They're always all good. The vibe is always on.
So do you think that's taking back, like you had said, the clubs kind of went downhill as far as the vibe and the...
Well, yeah, now the parties, it's at like warehouse or rented loft space. And it's so cool. It's just a different experience.
Yeah.
And you can't, it's hard to compare to the past because you're in a different mind frame when you're going out, when you're younger and or even playing and whatever. But yeah, it's hard to compare them.
Do you guys still have a lot of like friends, DJs and stuff from that era that are still in it?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's whether in it or not nowadays, especially with like social media, you feel like you're friends at least.
Yeah, a bunch of the DJs that we grew up with and in the scene. Some aren't in it anymore, and some are doing absolutely. Like one of our close friends, Rami, is half a Bedouin, and those guys are top of the world right now. So it's good to see the people that took it somewhere really take it somewhere.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, it is awesome. Didn't you guys just play with them?
Yeah. That was. I'm sorry.
So it was at the Mixmag gig.
Nice.
Just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we did their Road to Saga at the Mixmag Lab. Those guys just have their opening weekend. I think it's this weekend.
Yeah.
So if you're in Ibiza.
And there's a video of us playing at that gig and Bedouin playing at that gig.
Yeah.
So you can find that video and watch it.
Yeah.
So what else is coming up this year for you? Like any big gigs that you're really excited about, or?
I mean, we have gigs coming up the next few months. We're really looking forward to Burning Man. We definitely are solidifying some great times out there, which is good. And like we mentioned earlier, we have about 6 or 7 releases coming up this year. So I think we're most looking forward to sharing the music.
Wonderful. Well, is there anything else that you guys want to share about, yourselves and your music and how to get in touch with you? Or
yeah, I mean, just in regards to getting in touch, WildDark Music, or just WildDark on Facebook, WildDark Music on Instagram.
Yeah, follow our SoundCloud, listen to our music. We just love doing what we do, and we love knowing that people are hopefully enjoying it.
Anything that you would want to share about yourselves and your music that you'd want somebody who is coming to hear you for the first time or to tune into your mix?
Kind of touching on like what we said before about how we give each set a lot of thought. We do the same for our radio shows as well. Every podcast or whatever you call it, recording is always well thought out, and we hope for it to be a beautiful journey and for us to enjoy. And when we put it together, it really is because we hope other people, are going to listen to this and say, wow, like this gives me feeling. And
I get what they did there.
And that's awesome.